been going on. We're gonna try it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Houston right here at UHN TV with myself, Dr. Clara Brent, as your host, and Dr. Bobby Mills as your co-host. Want to remind you, too, that UHN has an app, and the app can be received on any one of your devices. Keep that in mind and look for us. Bobby, so much has been happening. Gas prices are high. Don't look like they're going to go down. Then we have our
Well, everything goes up and goes down.
sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Yeah, sooner or later. Hopefully, it will be soon
Right.
that they will. The prices will go down. It's a lot of us hurting each and every day. I used to could fill my car up with $20. Now I got to pay $40 to fill it up, and that's a great lick for those that don't have the money to pay for something that they could be using for food and otherwise clothes and shoes for the children and blah blah blah. But I really want to talk to you this morning and about not necessarily this morning, but any time that we're together. There is still a stigma on blacks, a stigma, and it's showing with our nominee. I should say nominee, but it could be another word for it.
Candidate.
Yeah, for our Supreme Court. Judge, and it looks to me that, and maybe it's my own opinion, but in my own opinion, I feel like these guys are, especially the Republicans, are doing something that they need not do, and that is to try to bring her down in what decisions she has made as a judge. And I believe she made good decisions from my research, that everything that she has done has been for the good of those people that had been accused of certain things that they were not really, especially about that little 18-year-old that they brought up about her in the decision that she made with him. According to this pornography, I don't know if it was pornography or it was something to do with.
Well, the thing about it is, it's not even about any of that. It's not about any of her rulings. It's about Republicans have decided that this country is a white country, and it's for white privilege. It's for them, and other ethnicities and races are only here to serve them and to maximize whatever benefits they perceive are in their best interest.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. It's not about her qualifications. The young lady, Ketanji Brown Jackson, is eminently qualified on two different occasions. She has been elevated to various levels of the court, and she's at the second highest level now, and the level that she's been nominated to the Supreme Court is the highest level.
True.
So she's been, a sitting judge. She's been on the appellate court. And what they're dealing with is trying to go at the fact that Biden is nominating someone that they feel may be in whatever kind of opposition to what their objective is, because their objective is to perpetuate, white privilege.
Yeah.
Because they want this to be a country
The
for
white
white-
man's country.
Yeah, for whites, and
Yes.
it has never been that, and it can never be that.
And it should never be that. Period.
Well, it can't be that because when whites came from Europe to America, there were, Mexicans and Native Americans living here. So
True.
it was never what they desired to be. It was never a white country.
Yes.
It was always a multiracial society, and it will always be a multiracial society.
I don't think it has to do with the well, I know we have quite
Well,
a few
it does have something to do
but
with that, because what they want is for minorities, blacks and browns, to be subservient to them. They don't want,
Okay.
and I'm talking about Republicans, they
I-
don't want a society where equal is equal. Not equal is more or less equal. They want a society
Yeah.
where white is more equal than any other,
Okay, then.
color.
Right, and that's I consider that being wrong. Of course, that
Sure
to
it's
them
wrong.
is right, and the old
Well, and
saying
they
is
know it's wrong,
white
too.
is right, but that's not right to say because it's not true. It's not. They want to make it true, but it's not true, and it should never be true. That's where we ought to be standing. Is that it never should be true.
Well,
That
because
we're going to continue to fight for the rights of all of us.
Right, because if a person thinks that they are superior to another person,
You in
and you
big
can
trouble.
demonstrate,
Yes.
in reality and actuality that you are superior, then you have no need to discriminate or be prejudiced or do anything to anyone who is not white. So it's not that white people basically feel superior, they feel inferior. Because you felt superior. If I feel superior to you, I don't have to do anything to you.
And I don't
You
have to
gonna
worry
fail.
about you either.
That's right. I don't have
Yes.
to, you're going to fail on your own.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything to you.
Just let you go. And
But look at all of the roadblocks
that has
that
been. Yes, Lord.
whites institutionalize
That's it.
in order to keep blacks and other minorities from succeeding. So if you are so superior, then why discriminate against others? You have a system and a society where it's open competition.
Well,
And obviously,
it never
whites
will
do not
be.
want a system where you have open competition of ideas and so forth, because it has been proven down through time. Look at the different inventions that blacks have created that have made life better.
For this
Let's
country.
just say,
For this
let's
country.
just take, the cotton gin,
Yeah.
Eli Whitney. Now,
He knew he didn't do that.
well, he did, because he had common sense enough to know, hey, look here, we out here picking this cotton.
Well, I'm saying
there's
that
got to be a better way.
I'm saying that the slave, it had to be a slave to do that.
That's what.
But Mr. Whitney took it as his idea, and I don't think that was correct for the Eli Whitney to take it as his idea, because why would he want to make it easier for the slave to have easy job?
Well, you know how that goes. But the thing about it is, many inventions to make life better. The other day I was reading, for Black History Month, just reading, and the cleaning press system was developed by a black man to clean your clothes.
Sure.
The shoe.
The one I think of the most of is the
What you thinking about the blood plasma?
the blood plasma guy and Doctor. What was his name? That's our biggest problem. We know they did certain things, but we don't have it so often put before us that we forget who they were. Dr.
Right.
Drew. Dr. Drew was a brilliant man who happened to die because they didn't want to give him blood.
Right.
And he was the one that really invented blood plasma.
Right.
But
Discovered, yeah.
that's sad
Yeah.
for this country to deny the person who brought this idea and put it into use to help
To
others
make life better.
make life better, and then he ends up dying because they refused to give him the blood plasma because he was black. Isn't that pitiful? That's a pain in the
Well,
behind.
Think about George
A
Washington.
pain in the behind.
Think about George Washington Carver
All the
just,
rest of them, yes.
just peanut butter.
And just one peanut. Oh Lord, George Washington Carver did so many other different things. But the peanut butter is the main one we remember because it tastes so good.
Yeah,
But,
and everybody loved
everybody loved it.
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, you know it. I was brought up on peanut butter and jelly. I come in the house, Mother, I'm hungry. Get you some peanut butter and jelly. And we pop that peanut butter and jelly together and get a glass of milk and drink it down and go on about my business.
But going back to Judge Jackson and Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker summed it up, magnificently when he said that this is a historic moment for the country and we all ought to rejoice in it, because here is a black woman who has served at 2 of the 3 judgeship levels.
And they still trying to deny her what she
And
should have. That's true.
Performed in an admirable way. Went to the best school. Graduated with honors from Harvard Law School and Harvard Undergraduate School, and really was the editor of the Law School Journal at Harvard, same as Barack Obama.
Obama was.
So this young lady has stellar credentials and has performed under extreme and adverse kinds of circumstances, and took a verbal beating unnecessarily because of the venom and hatred, and she's more qualified really than
some of them sitting over there.
The ones who, 3 or 4 of them that's already on the Supreme Court that were recent appointees.
They felt,
the young lady that was the replacement for the justice that passed. Amy Coney Barrett. That young lady didn't have any kind of real experience or credentials, and certainly didn't go to top law schools and all that. And they were all whatever and so forth because, they wanted the Supreme Court to be politicized. And that's what they've tried to do, is to politicize. See, justice is supposed to be blind, and it's not supposed to be about politics. It's supposed to be about, justice is supposed to be blind. They need to, take all this stuff down that they got out there.
Because it's colorblind.
Because it's not blind.
Justice is not blind at all. In that sense of
it's
the word.
Peeping.
Yeah, it's peeping
at
through.
Color all the time.
Yeah, it's about color. It's about the color of the
Unfortunately.
race. Yes.
But with God, thank goodness now, with God, it's about sin.
I know.
It ain't about no skin.
No, it's about sin, no skin. But how about, what do you think about the, do you believe that she's going to be...
she will be confirmed.
She'll be confirmed.
The Democrats have enough votes.
Yeah.
And all of them will vote to confirm.
Do you think that, good, then do you think the Republicans are hurting themselves in regards to what they are doing and showing?
Well, they're obviously hurting themselves in terms of image, but the people who identify themselves as Republicans, they're going to vote for these people anyway because they're voting for one thing and one thing only: white privilege.
And supremacy.
That's their platform, and that's
White
the
supremacy,
objective.
that's the issue.
White privilege. And they don't care about anything else because anybody with common sense, you know that the way Senator Ted Cruz carried on,
My
it
goodness.
is something sorely wrong
with his
mentality. Because first of all,
and he's
you
still
up there
thinking that
asking
way.
all these whatever kind of questions, but you won't even defend your own family. You allow the former president of the United States to talk about your wife publicly,
And
that
then
she's
back
ugly,
him.
and,
Yes.
and his wife is beautiful, and talk about your children, and
did do
accuse your father of participating in the assassination of the president of the United States, John Kennedy.
Yes.
And then you still lacking in behind him, so something's
your
already
problem?
wrong with you.
So you don't hold it. Why couldn't you hold that as a something that this man has brought you down, and then you're gonna push him up?
Right,
It has to be money. Is it money? Do you think it would be money? I don't think it would. It shouldn't.
No,
it shouldn't even be money.
It's power.
Tell the truth.
It's power and money. But see, the thing about it is, any person who would talk about your wife and your family and accuse your father,
and you're supposed to be the
of such
protector. Yes.
dastardly crime, you would tell them, forget you, the horse you rode in on,
and the wagon,
mosquito,
and
no,
the wagon
and
too.
the mosquito that bit that horse on his backside.
And whether it was
There's
a
no way
word
in the
or
world
not.
you would accept that kind of foolishness coming from anybody, not
No.
not another man.
No.
And he's
no.
getting in his pants the same way you getting in yours, one leg at a time.
Exactly.
No way.
No way possible that he should have.
But you know, one of the
backed
things
that type of
that
person.
that I wanted to bring up is, I don't know whether you had a chance to witness the trial of the gentleman from West Texas who went to Washington to participate in the insurrection on January the 6th.
Yeah.
And his two children tried to convince him not to do that because they said that
I remember.
nobody stole any election and all of this is whatever and it's wrong. And the father got angry with him and told him, said, well, you know what happens to snitches, telling his own children this.
His own children.
So
of his
the
blood.
children, especially the young man, he contacted the FBI and turned his father in and identified him, said he went down there and participated in it, and we tried to get him not to do that. And lo and behold, the young man went to Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago and testified against his own father, and the father is now being held in federal prison. He was convicted.
Okay.
And they got him in jail, and they're not going to let him out on bail. And you know, the young man and his sister now are without parental, any kind of parental support. And you know, I think about Kyle Rittenhouse. Here's a young man who's 17 years of age, gets a friend to buy an assault weapon. His mother, now we know she should be in jail. She definitely should be in jail. Now his mother drives him from one state
to the next,
to another state, from Illinois to
all
Wisconsin. He goes and wants to play law enforcement officer.
Now you're making a comparison here between
Right. The two incidents.
What's the thoughts of this country?
The thought pattern.
Yes.
You know, what's going on in this country.
Yes.
Now, here this young man, 17 years of age, he goes and gets this gun, an illegal gun that he should not be in possession of. It's an illegal act on his part to even have the gun.
A gun.
So then he is driven from his home state to another state to try to function as a police officer dealing with riot control and protecting somebody else's buildings and all that kind of foolishness.
It's a shame.
Now he goes there and kills two people. Kills two people with this high-powered gun and wounds a third person, almost taking that person's arm off. Now, they free this young man.
Yeah.
And these people raise millions of dollars
to make him rich.
For him and his mother. There was no father in the picture. For him and his mother, making them rich. Now we know, like I said, the mother ought to be in jail. But now here's this young man and his sister. They are without any kind of parental support now.
And nobody's sending them any money.
Because they were godly enough, and you have to say godly. They were godly enough to know right from wrong, and they turned their breadwinner, their father, turned them in for committing a crime. Now, nobody has gone out here, set up a GoFund for education
for those two children,
or providing any kind of public support for them, because their father participated in trying to overthrow the United States government.
Right.
And they thought that was wrong.
And then threatened his own blood children.
Yeah. To threaten to kill them.
Okay, that's so evil. That's evil minded.
Now, that just shows you the mentality of people in this country today, how sick
they are.
I'm talking about sin sick.
Yes.
We have become, because now we act like we don't even know the difference between right and wrong.
Well, what makes me feel good is that those children are going to be leaders one day. It makes me feel good that they're going to carry on this country one day.
Yeah.
And I feel good over
Different
that
generation.
for the next generation. So we about know that
And
just by the action of these two children,
that they're good examples.
They are good examples for this country and also for our country in the future.
Right.
And if they don't have a GoFundMe, I'm going to find out who they are, and I'm going to send some kind of funds to them. Yeah. And I suggest that those that are watching us, let's do something.
Right.
Let's send them some money that we can
to help support them. Because they're still in high school.
And these crooked-minded people who would help a child to kill and not send any money for that, and then send money to that particular child to make him rich.
And popularize it. Well, the President of the United States invited them to come to Florida and stand with him and whatever, and put his chest out and everything,
Yes, and that's...
Because it's all about the crookedness that he was dealing with, and talking about the steal, the election was stolen and overthrow
all those
the
lies that he
and
put
all
out.
this kind of old foolishness.
Who would believe somebody to tell so many lies? God is good and He is forgiving, but He said He can't even stand a liar in His sight. And then you know where He's going.
No, look here, He's already in.
You know where he's going. He doesn't know where he's going, evidently.
Yeah, he's a living, walking hell. Yeah, he ain't got to die and go to hell.
Yeah, it's going to happen. You reap what you sow. It's going to be reaped here, what you sowed, and it's going to be reaped what you sowed when you go to see the judgment. When the judgment comes.
On earth.
Yes, and a lot
in
of
the world to come.
Yes, sir. And a lot of people don't realize that. But I'm here to tell you that you better get ready, because we have a reckoning day.
Not only get ready, but get right.
Get right. That's ready, but get right. Get ready to be right, or get right with God. necessarily with man, and when you're right with God, you'll be right with each other. That's for sure. And don't you all sit back and just listen to us. Let us get together and help these two children. Let's show that the good is just as just as helpful as the bad, and we need to do that. I plan to do it after I get off this show, and start setting some kind of way of finding those two children and
Right.
and making something some way of sending them something for. Might not be a whole bunch of money, but you think if just 2,000 or 3,000 people would send in $15 or $20 to them, how well that would add up. And look forward to helping those that want to do right. That's what we need to do, is start looking forward to helping those that want to do right. And let's pray for our country. We need to pray for this country, period. And the leaders of this country definitely need our prayers. And the ones that are not doing good, we need to pray for them too, to get better and not to do the wrong, but to do the right. There is I want to bring up too, with the children that have become adults and can't get the jobs that they would like to have because of the records, criminal record that should not have been criminal in the first place. Why would you want to put 20 years on a child for carrying marijuana or being in a car with someone that has the marijuana on them, and you charge them because they're in the car? There is a saying that birds of the feather flock together, but hey, let's not use it as a criminal thing. That saying that if I catch you with somebody with the drug, you just as guilty as the person that has the drug. That's what has happened. During our children will make mistakes. We made mistakes, but the mistakes that they're making is haunting them very much, especially the black children. It's haunting the black girls, and as well as it's haunting the black boys. And I know that this system that is set up that they call prison is more than that. I call it slavery, second slavery, that you put a second part to slavery in this country, that you put people in jail or set their records so that they cannot progress after they have understood that I made a mistake. I didn't listen. But they should be forgiven because they were children, 16, 15, 17. And I don't even like the law about 18. Because 18, you're still a teenager. 19, you're still a teenager. You're still a child. You haven't really gone to become a man or a woman. And so we make decisions that should not be made at that particular time. And they are faulted for that. And their record should be expunged. Is that the word? Expunged. And it should be expunged to the point that it will not show, because they were teenagers, and just like they didn't have the money, the parents didn't have the money to go to court the right way, because the lawyers that the courts give them, they do not really help that child or help those children, did not help the children, and still not helping the children that are getting in and making mistakes, and the policemen are charging them for something that they should not be charging them for. It used to be you get a lick on the hand or tell you to carry me back home or something like that, and tell the parents about you, and parents would do the reprimanding, and the police go on by this business. But now they're putting them in jail. They're setting them in jail, and they are charging them with things that they should not be charged with.
Well, the real problem today stems from the breakdown of family. And when you have the breakdown of family, you invariably end up with individuals growing up with a lack of God conscience. And when you have a lack of God conscience, individuals will push the envelope. They'll go to the nth degree with abnormal kinds of behaviors that will get them in trouble. And ultimately, if you don't know the lawgiver, you're not going to obey no law. See, that's the problem. See, we just have too many individuals, children, growing up in our society who do not know the lawgiver. You know, the Bible tells you very clearly, train up a child in the way that you would have him go, and when he is old, he won't depart from it. Now, I agree with you that there are children out here who invariably sometimes get with the wrong crowd and become influenced by worldly kinds of things, and they make the wrong choice, you know, sometimes just by being with the wrong company. See, the Bible tells you very clearly, bad company corrupts good morals. You have to be careful who you associate with, because see, when you and I was coming up, you know, Dr. Clara, see, I remember one time when we was coming along, we could drive school bus. You didn't have grown people that drove the school bus. If you were 16 years old, because you could get your driver's license at 14.
Provided so your parent would sign for you. Yes.
You know, you could get your license when you were 14 years old. And when you were 16, you could get school bus driver's license because they felt you at least had your driver's license 2 years more. And you were mature and responsible. And if you showed that you were a mature and responsible person, you could drive, you know, school bus, because young people grew up in a different kind of environment. There was community parenting. See, now all of that is broken down, so children are more at risk in the kind of environment that. But I feel like children have been
more at risk for the black child. Boys and girls have been a lot of risk, and I don't know whether I want to put that with the not bringing up the way they should be brought up, and I can say that, but I've seen children go to church, Sunday school, 11 o'clock service,
BTU, everything else,
and all of those, and I've seen all of that, and they still didn't
go wayward.
They still didn't really pay attention to how important it was, just a few of us, how important it was to do the right thing.
Well, the one thing I learned when I was growing up very quickly is this. My grandfather told me, he said, boy, you know the devil's voice when you hear it. And when you hear it, you start running. See, our children today, they growing up, they don't know the devil's voice when they hear it.
No, they don't know how to fight it. And most adults don't even know how to fight the devil's voice.
You hear somebody talking about something wrong.
And anything that comes to your mind, let me tell y'all this, anything that comes to your mind that is contrary to what you ought to do, then don't do it. Because that's Satan. Anything that comes to your mind, I'm going to get even with that person. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. That's not God. That's Satan. And if you don't understand when things are talked about in your mind, or thought in your mind about evil thoughts, that's not God. That's Satan. And I kind of agree sometimes with Flip Wilson. The devil made me do it. That make people today yesterday.
No,
and
the devil didn't make you do it. You did it because you wanted to
Yeah,
do it.
but the issue is that you still have to understand that there is spiritual voices, temptations and voices in high places. And there we don't fight against each other.
Yeah.
That's what Paul said.
Right.
We don't fight against one another. We fight against principalities. And you got to know the good principality from the evil principality.
Amen.
And we must realize,
Darkness in high place.
yeah, that we must realize there are demons. You don't want to say it, but there are demons in this world, and it's using people every day to do wrong, to think wrong, and act wrong. And the things that we should keep in mind is about how well we must protect each other, and we got to start protecting our children, and that have become adults now, and they got to get their record straight and all those things, and we need to start helping them get to that point. So because they have seen the light, they were walking in darkness, but they see the light, and it's wrong to continue to have that darkness follow you all the rest of your life. You can't get a job the way you would like to get a job. You can't if you go to school, you still won't be able to get a job because you got all this bad stuff that happened to you when you were 17 years old, and it hasn't been wiped off your record. The company that wants to hire you say, oh, this look like a good person to hire, and then they look up your record, and then all this bull malarkey is down there saying what you did when you were 17 years old, and they're not overlooking. They're overlooking that age. They're looking at the thing that you did. Hey, y'all, we got to leave, but I want you to know God loves you. We do too. Come back and see us again. Keep your paper in your car. Bye-bye. Well, we don't, y'all